Yo, 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 what's good, Cowboy Nation? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you enjoyed your Christmas, New Year's holiday, got that family time in, but let's get right into it. Today, we're officially closing the book on the 25-26 season, a season that gave us just enough hope to believe and just enough chaos to remind us who we are. Um, if you're a Cowboys fan, this season felt like watching a movie where you already know the ending, but we still buy the ticket because Jerry Jones and this star is one of the best sellers of advertisers in the league in the world. To be honest, um, historical franchise, but the results aren't matching up. We have another failed season. Anytime you don't make the playoffs, you definitely have to consider it a failure, and that's exactly what this season was. Uh, there's no way around it. We got to be honest. We got to be real. It's like expectations versus reality. What's the truth? Expectations was for this season that we would, talent on paper, star power, playoff aspirations, but what we got was the most cowboy thing possible, which was flashes of greatness surrounded by stretches of pure confusion. One week we looked like contenders. The next week we looked like a team trying to remember the playbook. Let's be honest. Like the ups and downs of this season, you can sum it up with like the past 25 years, 30 years, some would say, since we made the NFC championship or playoff, Super Bowl, anything like that. It's the same old story. Same results, same outcome. It may play out a little different week to week, but at the end of the day, when you check the stats, check the results, we have failed time and time again. Glimmers of hope, light at the end of the tunnel, some may say, but when you're not winning, you're not winning. And that's the reason we play the game. That's the reason we play the sport is to win. And that's not what we've been doing on a consistent basis. Winning seasons, yes, yeah, we've had some winning seasons sprinkled throughout that 30 years, obviously. Um, we haven't been the Cleveland Browns for the last 30 years. No offense, Cleveland, but it is what it is. We've had winning seasons in there, but we don't judge on the regular season. We judge in the playoffs. You want to be the America's team, the glory, the star, glitz and glamour, and all of that, and being hyped around the regular season, then yeah, you succeed. You succeed more than most. Um, I think Dak has a winning record in the regular season, in the division, and all of that. But when it comes to the playoffs, that's what matters. Let's be honest. Uh, and we haven't succeeded in that. And it's frustrating. I know it's very frustrating, but it is what it is. This is where we are. We're closing the chapter on this season. Another disappointing year. Like we're sitting around feeling like this. Like here we go again. Um, and the most frustrating thing is that there were opportunities missed throughout this season. We're gonna get into all of that. I know I'm kind of rambling to start, but it's just so much here to dissect. So let's talk about it. The offense highs and lows. Like the story of this season, I would say, if I had to sum it up in one word, it would be inconsistency. And that goes on all phases of the ball, from offense, defense to special teams. Surprisingly, special teams, but I wouldn't put that so much in the forefront like I would the defense. Definitely defense. If I had to rank on a scale of 1 to 3, defense, offense, then special teams, as far as the reason for the inconsistency. And it's clear as day. I mean, if you're watching the games on Sunday, Thursday, or Monday, it was obvious to see, it was glaring, the issues of inconsistency with this team. But let's start with this offense first. Um, there were games this season where I feel like we moved the ball effortlessly, explosive plays, momentum, confidence, all of that. You can't deny the offense had firepower. But when it mattered most, the red zone struggles, the third down failures, the stalled drives. We had long droughts where nobody stepped up. Too many games where the offense looked unstoppable, then disappeared when the pressure turned up. There were drives and games where we're okay, we gotta have it on this drive. And here we are 3 and out, or here we are punting, or here we are not getting that first down, that crucial first down to keep us in the game because we knew we could not rely on this defense. We were predominantly an offensive driven team. If the offense isn't scoring 40 points or 35 or higher, we really don't have a chance because we know as soon as we punt the ball to the opposing team, they're getting points, whether it's a 3 or a touchdown. And so many times I feel like the red zone insufficiencies or deficiencies um, bit us in the ass. Let's be honest. You can't continue to kick field goals when the other opposing team is getting touchdowns because we weren't stopping anyone in the red zone, but we were stopping ourselves in the red zone. Um, Overall, I do have to give, I would give Shotty a thumbs up on his first year with the team. Although we were below 500, failure by not making the playoffs, there were some stepping stones and a good foundation to build on. If we can re-sign Pick, the O line is younger; they're only going to get better. Solidify that running game, and Dak played pretty consistent throughout the season. He was hot early on, had a few, failures. I think that's just the defense, not, you got to be playing perfect. He had to play perfect pretty much. And that's a lot to ask of your quarterback. But hey, that's why he get paid the big bucks. We need him to be that captain of the ship to steady our flow and keep us going. For the most part, I would have to say he did a good job of that. But at the end of the day, failure is failure, and that's what we're dealing with at this point. Um, Too many times we disappear when the pressure turned up, and good stats don't erase bad moments. If you look at the stats are good, but throughout the season, there were moments where we just look bad. For instance, the Chicago game. Yeah, CD went out with the ankle sprain. George Pickens really came out during that game, had his coming out party, but that was a winnable game. The Carolina game, offense didn't really show up. We lost on the last second field goal, but that was another bad game. If you look at the stats, yeah, we were a high powered offense, top five, top three, maybe in the league, but here we are sitting at home. The Cardinals game at home, another, I'm harp on it again. Good stats do not erase bad moments. And that Arizona game was a definitely bad moment, a black eye on this season. I feel like that was one of the losses that really determined us not making the playoffs. Like you can't have that type of loss at home when you know you're chasing the division leaders, which was Philly. The division winners turned out to be. Washington fell off due to injuries, Giants due to injuries. It was basically a two-team race. And with the other divisions, NFC West, NFC North, doing as well as they were, we couldn't depend on a wild card opportunity to get in the wild, be one of those wild card teams. We had to win our division. We failed to do so. Closing drives, the talent was there. We definitely have the talent, but the rhythm wasn't always consistent. And against top tier teams, the mistakes were magnified. That Detroit game, mistakes we made, interceptions coming out to start the half, or fumbles here, or, taking a sack when we're not supposed to, the drop passes, all of that contribute to putting us exactly where we are, and that's sitting at home, eliminated out of the playoffs. Close the curtains. It's over. This 2025-26 season is over. Close the curtains on it. We already thinking about rebuild. This is where we are because of the mistakes we made. And hey, they can't blame nobody but themselves. You know what I'm saying? We eliminated. It is what it is. Better look next year to come back and try to make an opportunity to put yourself back in position to get in the playoffs. That's why it's crucial to start the season fast. You can't be 3-5 and trying to be perfect on the back end. You definitely want to give yourself room and cushion because you don't know what's going to happen. Someone can get injured, a bad break here, bounce here or two that can determine a win and loss. This game is really a game of inches, like most people say, and it comes down to sometimes one play to determine if you're going to go home with the dub or the L. And too many times we came home with the L, the ties. That's unfortunate, but hey, you play the game to win, and this is the results, and this is where we are. But like I said, offense, you can't really put too much blame on them. Yeah, there's some room to improve. There's some things we need to work on to get better. But the main reason we sitting our ass at home right now is because of this defense. Let's be real. Let's be real. All time bad, all time horrible, horrendous. One of the worst defenses I've seen in a while. And some would say, oh, well, you didn't have the personnel, or, Jerry traded Michael Parsons, or, the coach didn't have the personnel to do what he needs to do. All those excuses, you know where you can put them. Let's be real. Let's just give these stats right quick. Our rush defense is ranked 20th. We gave up 123 yards per game, a total of 23 rushing touchdowns during the season, 20th. And I say we moved up the ladder on that after the trade, solidifying that middle of the defensive line with Quinn Williams, Kenny Clark, getting Overshown back, trading for Logan Wilson. Those help contribute to our run defense. And that was, I believe, the main reason Jerry did do the trade. Michael Parsons is a better rush defender. He's suited for a defense or a team that can get up and get leads. But you have to be able to stop stop the run. If you can't stop the run, his pass rush, they can just continue to move down the field if you can't stop the run. That was a glaring hole over the past few seasons, and I think was one of the real reasons we hadn't really had much playoff success. Because whether we got the lead or other team got the lead, they were able to bleed out the clock, control time of possession because we were unable to stop the run. I see foundational pieces on this team right now that will help shore up that middle and stop the run a lot better than we had in the past. So as good as Parsons was, we did get what? 2 additional first round picks. Let's see what we do with that during this draft coming up. Hopefully we go all defense because that's where the most glaring holes are on every level, from D-line to linebackers to corners to safeties. We got to cover every level of that defense with talented players, the right players, uh, cerebral players that have a good IQ, because I've seen too many times where we were playing zone, and the worst thing you can do in the zone, yeah, you cover a certain part of the field, but if there's no threat in that area, you need to find the closest threat or be aware of the closest threat coming towards you. If that's a receiver coming across and you have a two-man cover or a cover two or a cover three, you got to play the area, but you also have to play the nearest threat. And too many times we were just covering ourselves, standing in empty parts of the field, watching the quarterback, unaware of whoever's around you, and they were sitting in voids, picking us apart. The lack of communication, all of that contribute. The missed tackles, the soft coverage, getting bullied in the run game before the trade. The defense loved playing with the lead, but hated adversity. And that's not championship football. The highlight reel football team is what we were. I would say 90% of the QBs we faced had a coming out party or career day on us from the start of the season to the end of the season. And it's hard to win that. You can't win that way. Let's be real. Jacoby Brissett had a coming out party on us. Jacoby Brissett for the Cardinals, the abysmal Cardinals, had a coming out party for us. I'm not going to stop there. Caleb Williams, early in the season, career day, coming out party. Justin Herbert, when everybody was saying his offense was struggling, the man had surgery on his hand. He had one good hand, and the Chargers came and had a coming out party on us. Bryce Young in Carolina early in the season had a coming out party against us. Not to mention Rico Dow. Do you guys remember Rico? Rico that was on our team had over about 200 rushing yards on us before the trade. That's how abysmal and horrible that run defense was. Rico Dow could not be stopped. He said they better buckle up their chin strap. Before the game, he gave us bulletin board material, and we couldn't do nothing to stop that man. Bo Nix. Everyone says Bo Nix is a game manager. He's not the great quarterback, this, and that. Boy looked like John Elway when we played him. I'm being honest. You saw it. I saw it. Let's be real. Not to mention the second game of the season. Was it the second game? Yeah, it was the second game because Philly missed opportunities, drop pass. That was crucial. Like I said, the opportunities was there for us to be a good team this season, but the results are what they were. We are who we are. Russell Wilson, Sierra man, had a coming out party on us over like 400 passing yards, 5 touchdowns, took us to overtime, bombs away. The guy who got booed off the field in New York, replaced by the rookie Jackson Dart. No one wanted to trade for him. They traded for Joe Flacco before they traded. People brought back Phillip Rivers off the couch, who's been retired for 5 years, to play before trying to trade or get Russell Wilson. He had a coming out party on us. Like, come on, man. That's how horrible our defense was. And they have to take the biggest blame, which is why we decided to move on from Eberflus. Like, I would say it was long overdue. In my opinion, it should have happened earlier. I know they say they don't believe in firing coaches during the season. I don't think Jerry's ever done that, but if there was one time to do so, it was now. Um, the excuse may be, oh, well, he didn't have the personnel he needed. He was here during the draft. He was here during the offseason. He was able to see the roster. I think the greatest asset or skill of a coach is knowing your personnel and knowing how to put guys in the best position to succeed. There's no reason Donovan Wilson should be in coverage. Everyone knows that. Everyone knows that. You know that. Like, it's a few players that shouldn't be in position. Kenneth Murray, like, the discipline, you jumping out of your gaps before the ball even comes, you giving offensive lines and running backs clear lanes to get to the second level of the defense. Like, you're playing soft coverage and zones when you see we don't have the personnel to succeed in that. Hell, you better off doing all-out blitz. Put the pressure. The D-line wasn't able to get consistent pressure on the quarterback, so these guys are sitting back there patting the ball, tying their shoe, door dashing, calling a side piece, whatever they had to do, and then threw the ball. The results are the results. I already told you what the defense looked like. Like, our ranking, 20th in rush. Passing, we was 32nd, bottom of the bottom. Cowboys, 253 passing yards per game, gave up 33 touchdowns. 32nd in passing defense, 20th in rushing defense. That was solely due to the trade that we moved up. Otherwise, I believe we would have been 30 in that as well. Total defense overall, we was 30th, giving up 376 yards a game, a total of 56 touchdowns this season. Missed tackles, soft coverages, QBs having career days on us. It should have happened a long time ago. There was no way we would have succeeded, even with a top 3 offense. It is what it is. Let's be honest. He should have been fired. The results weren't matching, couldn't adjust to the personnel. Some coaches are just too stubborn in their ways. Like, they can't get out of their own way. And I believe Eberflus, they like, yeah, he's a good coach. He's a good DC, this, and that. It's not about what you did in the past. It's about what have you done for me lately. And lately, we've been 32nd in passing, 20th in rush, 30th in total defense, giving up a total of 56 touchdowns for the season. Get his ass out of here. Bye. Bye-bye. Be gone. That's 4 defensive coordinators in the past 4 years. Something has to change with this ownership to put this team in the best position. Do they want to win is the real question. I believe so. Making that trade, not paying Micah, let's see what this draft holds. We always clinging on to this hope. But the results got to start matching up sooner than later, Jerry. very soon, like next year. Eberflus is gone. I do believe we have the right guy in the head coaching seat. He's also the OC. He has some room to grow as well. Like I said, the stall drives, the red zone issues, all of that. From the 20-yard line to the other 20, we were great. But once we got near that 10, for some reason, I don't know if it's scheme, execution, we we were relying on Brandon Aubrey's leg way too much. Yeah, he's one of the best kickers in the league. Just because we crossed the 50, we can't be content with kicking field goals. Clip that. We can't. We can't be content with that. Yeah, we got Goldfoot Aubrey, but we shouldn't be relying on that. And too many times we was putting up 3 instead of 7. I can't recount at least more than 5 games. This man by himself, Brandon Aubrey, had put up 12 points on the scoreboard. 12 or 15. That's way too many field goals. You put up what 15 points field goals. That's five field goals. So that's 5 trips near the scoring position, but you putting up field goals. 5. A team can come down and score 2 touchdowns and eclipse that. 5-2. It's not adding up. That's like 3-pointers in the NBA versus twos. You get enough of those 3-pointers, those twos won't matter. And too many times we was getting those. So deservingly, I'd say so. Other breaking news around the league, or not around the league, just with the Cowboys in itself, was Trayvon Diggs getting waived and released. This was a weird season for Trey. Coming back from the injury, not being quite healthy, not rehabbing with the team, his percentage getting fined because of that. The talks before the season started, ownership saying he's not the leader we expected, this, and that. Trayvon going back and forth. This was even before the Micah trade. All of this was going on. He comes back, still looks like he doesn't have his legs under him quite yet. Getting beat on routes. Like I said, communication on the whole defense was bad. So I don't know how much of it was Diggs, how much of it just was the coaching, the scheme, and all of that. And then news comes out that he's under concussion protocol, but it wasn't from the game. It was a concussion he had at the house. You got a concussion at home? Was this a slip and fall at the store like Ezel? Like my neck and my back? What's going on? Uh, and then from a concussion, he get put on IR, and they saying, "Oh, he's not quite healthy." Then he comes back off of IR, the 21 day window, and he's eligible to play against that in that Detroit game, and they hold him out. And then the following game against the Chargers, they let him play, and then they waive him before the end of the season. I don't know what's going on with Diggs. I do believe we may have got the best of Diggs had to offer early on in the season when he's a ball hawk. He's a great ball skill corner. He got picked up by the Packers. Parsons tweeting about it. They all tweeting about it. That just showed me how hurt you really was, man. You still wanted to be on the star. You still wanted to be part of the Cowboys. Like, not so Diggs. I don't know how that situation soured, but definitely Micah. I don't think he thought Jerry would trade him, but it happened. You in Green Bay, get healthy soon, recover, man. Wish you the best, this, and that. But you're no longer here. Why you keep talking about the Cowboys? Let it go. It serves you nothing. It benefits you. I don't know how. You know what I'm saying? But Diggs is out. Eberflus is out. Maybe those are some of the moves we need to do to get the guys in here that we need in order to win. It is what it is. At least, they're showing some accountability. Let's see. Ownership has to get this right going into next season. No excuses. We got to get this right. We can't continue to be where we are. And when you look back on the season, it's like the most frustrating part isn't the losses, it's the missed opportunities. A lot of these games were winnable. Moments that require discipline, situations where great teams rise and average team falls, and we fail. So we definitely are average team at this point. We hovered in the middle, competitive, talented, but never fully completed what we needed to do to be a great team. And the teams in the playoffs, Are they great teams? Maybe a slight handful, but there are a lot of good teams. And to be a good team, you got to be good on special teams, defense, and offense. It's a team sport. It's not an offensive only where you play make it, take it. That's not the game. It's not defense where you just keep making stops. I mean, you have to put up points. And we couldn't stop anyone when we needed to. We couldn't put up the points sometimes when we needed to. And that's where we are. A talented, average, mediocre team. And I'm sick of this. I'm sick of it. But talent alone isn't enough. Consistency, as we know, win championships. And we're searching still, I feel like, for that identity of this team. I think Shotty got a good pulse on the team. There is a foundation here, but there's also some hard decisions ahead that need to be made in the draft. Let's see what we could fulfill with that. But ownership has to be held accountable, man. Uh, I'm just a loss for words. Like this season, it is what it is. Um, it has to be because this is where we are. Players aren't innocent, getting penalties at the worst time, mental mistakes, momentum killing errors. Great teams stay composed, and that's what we need to demonstrate going forward. We have to, um, especially if we want to get to where we want to be. I'll say it one last time. Until the Cowboys stop selling hope, start delivering results, this franchise will stay exactly where it's at. Good, not great. Relevant, not respected. Clip that. Good, not great. Relevant, but relevant and not respected. Don't turn the star into a laughing stock. They love us. They hate us. They love us again. Right now, we're being hated on, but I can't say we haven't deserved it. It is what it is, man. Uh, Stay tuned to the next episode. We will give some playoff coverage. We'll be following the playoffs, also making some transition and talking about this NBA. I got a lot to say about the home team, Dallas Mavericks, and this whole debacle and situation that Nico put us in. But for another episode, holla at your boy, Leeway. I'm out. See you soon. Deuce.